The hip hop culture has played a major role in putting the information out on social justice and so forth. There are a lot of young people coming up today who want to get involved in social justice. What would be some of the recommendations you would have for the young people who are thinking about being a part of this? And then also talk about your initiative with the digital piece. Well,
I think first we should always study those that come before us who have done it excellently. People, I hear the phrase all the time, this is not my grandmother's movement. But there is no movement that I know of in history that has been successful that did not rely upon something from a previous generation. And so there are important teachings that generation was exposed to through my father that I think those that are interested in social justice need to be exposed to, because it gives you the means to know how to strategize and plan and be effective at bringing about change and transformation. We can't be in the business of just speaking up to speak up, just to have your voice heard, to make noise. We got to make sure that translates into something that systematically changes things in our society. So if you want to see a change as it relates to what's happening between law enforcement and community, which is a monstrous issue, something that now I don't think one generation will conquer. There has to be a strategy around that, because it's layered. You're dealing with several municipalities that govern, law enforcement agencies, and so you can't tackle it like from the federal level. There's some things at the federal level you can do, but there's so much that has to be done on a local grassroots level, and just being upset about it, mad about it, speaking up about it is necessary, but what do you do next? And that's what Nonviolence 365 teaches you. It gives you the mindset, it gives you the discipline, and it gives you the tactics and the means to bring about that social change. And then I think you asked me about the campaign that we are launching via social media. It's a social campaign called I Commit. It's a marketing campaign, and I meaning small case, I commit, and it represents a call to action to us personally to commit to the principles that we at the King Center teach, not just as my father as one day, but as a lifestyle, as an everyday thing. And so we're asking people to financially support the nonviolence education and training. There are many people who come here. Some are able to pay for the training. Others are able to pay a little bit, and so we have to provide scholarships. Some can't pay anything, and we want to be able to make it available to everyone. There's a particular focus on people who have a sphere of influence. I believe everybody has a sphere of influence. So we're looking for influencers to come to this training, and influencers in every arena of American life, because if we had more people who thought like Dr. King was very people-centered. Every decision that he made kept that in mind. He understood the dignity, worth, and value of every human being, even his adversary. One thing we don't do well in the community of those who believe that we're on the side of right and just and truth is that we don't take time to understand the people that are opposed to us, who may think totally different from us. And Daddy, because of a Hegel model that he studied, the thesis, the antithesis, and then the synthesis, he was able to look at the opposite perspective from his perspective and bring about a synthesis, because he believed there were threads of truth in each one. So we have to learn to do that. The children of darkness are often more zealous and determined than the children of light. That's what he said. So that means they study the people. I heard somebody say they studied the people that they hated, they studied. Why don't we study the people that we call our enemy and opponents? Think about the game. You're talking about the Super Bowl? And I spoke about this 2 years ago when the Falcons were faced with one team or another. They were going to have to play, I think it was Dallas, and I forget the other team. But they didn't know at the time, because Dallas was going to be playing against another team. Well, in order to prepare, there's one strategy and tactic for Dallas and another strategy and tactic for the other team, because each team has different, plays and all that kind of stuff. So you have to study each team. We don't do a good job of studying the very thing that we're trying to change and transform. We get very emotional. And so we got to translate that emotion into strategy, into thought, into discipline, so that we can bring about the social change, and so that we can elevate everybody. I don't think we just want to have enemies. I hope we don't. I don't. I want to win people over. I don't want to just win over people. Yeah, we won. Because that was what Daddy said when they ended the bus boycott. He said, you all, this is not a victory over white people. This is a victory for justice. This is a victory for freedom. And so we're not winning over people. We're winning for justice, freedom, equality, and for what's right and true.